All right, welcome to Scary Ghost Stories Part 6 Camp Nightmare. So, this story didn't happen to me directly. This is a story that my barber had told me that happened to him a long, long time ago. They usually, back in the day, do like camping trips and stuff, him and his whole family. So, they all went to their little campsite that they normally go to deep in the woods. And they started to set up a few tents in their little campsite. And while they were doing that, the guys decided to go fishing to bring back like food for later on, while everyone else kind of like stayed back to set up the camp. And so at this time, everything is normal. It's during the day. Everyone's kind of like doing their part around the campsite. And that's when one of the moms realized that her daughter was missing. And so she kind of wasn't too concerned at first. She was just kind of looking around in their little area to see if she was there. She was calling out her name, searching around the little surrounding nearby trees, and she was not there. So she started to panic a little bit and kind of ask everyone in the camp, all the other families, to kind of help look for her daughter. And so everyone's now looking and they're scattering across the woods to kind of find this little girl. And she's nowhere to be found. And they don't think that she went with the guys on their little trip to fish, because it's mainly just all the guys that went. And they couldn't really contact the other guys on the boat to see if, she had maybe wandered that way or something, because there was no cell service. So panic started to kind of set in to the camp, and they didn't know where she went. So my barber, a few of his cousins, and one of the grandmas decided to kind of go up this hill to kind of get more altitude, to kind of see if they could see her anywhere nearby. And so they were going through this little journey where they had to kind of go through like a lot of like steep terrain, very like hard terrain to kind of like maneuver around. And so the more they went, the more they realized that a little girl couldn't have gone that far, just because it's just very strenuous. Like, it's a lot to be doing. My barber was tired, and a few of his cousins were tired, and after like 30 minutes of just like going up this hill and calling out her name, they were like, I don't think she's over here. Like, there's no way. So they kind of went back while the grandma continued on. And when my barber and his cousins went back to the campsite, the mom was just like, she already called the police to try to make a report. The guys had come back from their trip, and so they were also kind of like, they used their car to like get the cell service to make that call and all that. And they were just looking around, and they were very like nervous. And after 30 minutes had passed, the grandma came back to the site, and she was holding the little girl in her arms. And the little girl was like sleeping. And everyone was like, what the heck? Where were you? Like, where could she have been? And the grandma said that, once like my barber and his cousins kind of like left, she kind of continued on a little bit more up ahead. And she was just about to give up when she kind of just like did a quick little prayer, and then she heard a little sound in the nearby area. So she followed that sound. And as she's going, she sees the little girl just kind of sleeping on the floor. So the grandma picks the girl up and takes her back to camp. So my barber was very confused, because that was such a long journey to get up there. Like, there was no way that little girl could have just like gone up that hill on her own. And when the little girl woke up, she was telling everyone that, she left camp because she was following her dad. And they just kept on going and going. And even though she was telling her dad that she was tired, like, they just kept on going until eventually she kind of just like started to rest. And that's when she fell asleep. But the weird part is that she couldn't have followed her dad in the woods, because her dad was out fishing with the other guys. So the question still remains, who was she following? And how did she get so far away from camp without anyone hearing or seeing her? And so, what are your guys' thoughts? I think it might be like a skinwalker or something, but Could be many different things. Let me know what you guys think. And we'll see you next time.